Once again, our esteemed viewers, we are all welcome back to the studio. It is a place to be. There is no time spent here that will be considered a waste, because we are here to dish out very educative, entertaining, as well as interesting information to every one of you, that is hooked up to this. And the information currently bordered more particularly on the political events that is unfolding right here in our state and the nation as a whole, as it concerns the ongoing electioneering. We're in electioneering season across the country. We've just concluded the presidential pool. The result is out, despite the fact that there are pockets of protests here and there and concern. That's not the issue why we are here this evening. We have a major challenge that is Niger Delta State specific, and what is it, if you may ask? It is the fact that come this Saturday, precisely on the 11th of March, we shall all be filing out to do what? To elect as leader somebody who will represent us at Osadebe House in Asaba. And by extension, that person will take over from the incumbent governor in the person of Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. Jerome Tommy remains my name, and with me in this studio is
Asiayi Enaimbo.
It is no longer news again that that race is like getting hotter by the day. The 16 candidates angling to occupy the Osadebe House, they are all eminently qualified, and Deltas are like getting confused on whom to select or whom to vote out of the 16 eminent Deltas. And that is the more reason why Warmatu Voice, your darling station, has decided to be presenting you with their profiles to enable you make informed decisions. We are going to continue on that path, but before now, as part of that exercise, the media organization, as a proactive step to achieving that purpose, organized a kind of pool to know or feel the pulse and the whatever that is going on in the society across the state, to know what Deltans are looking up to, whom they are angling or positioning to vote, and that the outcome of that pool shows something new and different. It is a sign that the outcome of that pool is a sign that there is indeed a new order in the state. That is what we shall be focusing on in this segment. Please don't go away, because it will have a far-reaching effect in your decision on whom to vote for come Saturday morning.
Yes. It has been a very interesting one, because this is a social media era where you go with your phone, you can see different activities ongoing nationwide. And Baramatu Voice painstakingly look at these activities. Who is Delta's choice, and what is the yearning from the social media aspect, and down to the this era, everybody is with their Android phone and getting information across globally. And bits on this issue where online poll was being carried out by Baramatu Voice, and we have a very interesting figures in terms of the different political parties and the candidates, and that is the issue why we decided to engage Deltans on making a right choice, and what the people at this point in time decided that no, it is my own conscience I want to vote for, not by imposing somebody that is not my choice. So Delta decide, you can also see Nigeria Decide 2023.
And
decide.
So
that is how it is, and it has been an interesting moment. And we also have a lot of persons who call into this program and tell us their views on who is going to man the affairs of Delta State come this Saturday, 11th March 2023.
Just before we give them the report or the result of that poll, How valid is online polls in your estimation?
Before now, a lot of persons who are not social media influencers would tell you that those who are making noise in social media has no voters card.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the narrative have changed. Because previously, during the presidential poll, we carried out the same online voting system, and the results came out, and this is it has given a sense of orientations, yes, of what Nigerians want, the change that they so desire, whether there are manipulations or not. What the people want make manifest, and that is what has been happening within the social media space.
So are you saying in effect that the result of this polling, the online poll, may not be far from reality?
It's not far from reality in the sense that those, like for instance, now you are also in the social media. My family, results of them are also into social media. They are also making their choice from the social media. At the same time, that is the manifestation that will happen at the polling units. And they go there, like for instance, now during the presidential, people talked about Pekin, Mama, so Papa, Mama, Pekin. And what happened within the social media is what happens at the polling unit. Okay. So people are conscious of now what is happening daily. Unlike when you in the time of old where you on generator before you go to get to see things. But this time around with your phone, you are seeing updates and issues on the move. So with your phone with your power bank, for instance, we have electricity challenges in this country. For instance, in Delta State, in the rural areas, we don't have electricity. So people carry with their power bank, seeing what is happening. So at this point in time, it is a committed result.
So in effect, you are saying that the social media has become a new normal.
Yes, it's a trend.
Playing a very key role in the opinion formulation as it concerns the political activities that is currently ongoing in the country.
We are far from the dark age, and this is the jet age that we are, and you can see that if you want to get information, you have to be with your phone and get these details. And if you are not part of this trend, that means you are still far from the decision-making process. These things happen, and people follow the trend, and it's come to reality. So it is a reality
now. So if we go by this reality, even without us, announcing to the world, though it's been published, so we are not the one announcing anymore. It means, should we say that PDP is on its way out of the leadership of the state? Is that correct?
Looking at a lot of issues, because
so that for better understanding by our teaming followers, we can as well announce the result of that poll.
Yes, what we have here from the poll, online poll, we have APC, we have the candidate of Senator Omar Agege, who have 42%.
Yes.
The online poll.
Yes.
So we also have in the result here.
It was keenly,
yes,
and tightly followed by the rising sun.
Yes. That is the obedient
movement, the Labour Party. Yes.
Labour Party. This is one thing that is people are not.
So that they don't miss the gap. What's
the
percentage?
The percentage is 41.
That's just 1%.
Just 1%.
That's too close to call. Okay. See.
Yes.
Do you see obedient group by extension Labour Party? Because I don't know the one that carries more political weight now. If it is the Labour Party, which was initially registered, yes. You understand, or the Labour Party. Don't you see them closing this gap before Saturday? Even the 1%, or even surpassing it.
Obedient is now becoming a political party. But if Labour Party is not, if the name Labour Party, very soon now, Labour Party will not be heard. It's Obedient Party.
Of course, and I see it coming.
And that is the trend. So a lot of persons are not even talking about Labour Party. We are obedient. We are obedient. So in this obedient new trend now, before we get to the final the day on Saturday, you will see that this just 1%.
Okay.
So the Labour Party can even override the APC.
Of course, because if you let's place it side by side with the previous poll, this is like the third poll the Barometric Voice is coming out with. You will discover that in the second poll, which appears to be the previous one, Labour Party was out of the contest. They weren't captured. They weren't captured not because the Barometric Voice did not focus on them, but because they were nowhere to be found. In that pool, APC had a very wide margin of 67%, while the PDP, the ruling party in the state, trailed from a far distance of 27%. The party was closely followed by the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA,
of Great
Oboru, 5%, and SDP 1%. That was then, and this was on the just few months back or few weeks back. Then you can imagine what has happened between now and then. So, though I'm not surprised, do you know why, if you may ask? In politics, 24 hours, is a whole lot of time
to make decision.
Trigger, great change. So maybe that is what is playing out now. But let's focus on this Labour Party.
Now let's conclude the results first.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yes.
Now, APC 42%, Labour Party 41%, PDP 15%, and APGA, All Progressive Grand Alliance 1%. The question is, how are the mighty fallen? What happened to PDP? This is the first time I'm seeing, though it's something closely related to this happened in 2015, when the ruling party was turned to an opposition, and the opposition became controls the ruling party. But this fall is highly disheartening. Or what don't you see or feel the way I feel?
Within the Delta State political contest, there is a new drama, a new shift is coming to play. And from this new shift is coming in the dimension that over the years, democratically, PDP has been in power for Delta States. And unlike some other states that changes occur for people to weigh that this political party perform more than this, but this is one particular part. So nobody has been able to key into into leadership in terms of but in recent trend now, the dimension is now changing. People beginning to feel that there is a need for a new consciousness, political consciousness, where development will be visible among the people, not the old ways of people, maybe godfathers making decisions, and at the end of the day, what is meant to develop the people is not using that dimension. So it is a new trend that is happening.
Sorry, if I may come in, why I'm particularly concerned about what is happening in Delta is this. Success, just like failure, they are both systemic things. Nobody fails in one day and nobody succeeds in one day. There are key indicators pointing to the fact that we are succeeding, and there are equally indicators pointing to the fact that we may not be moving on the path of success. What is it called? Godfatherism. Yes, it's politically wrong. But I have seen where it positively and perfectly worked. In Lagos, for instance. You get it? The first governor of Lagos State, from 1999 till now, when democracy re-emerged on the political geography called Nigeria, the current president-elect, in the person of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, emerged the governor of Lagos State. That was in the year 1990, May 1999, and he led for 8 years. But before, he did not lead alone. He developed a kind of strong political foundation by developing a roadmap through which Lagos could transform to a truly mega city. And you know what? After his departure, he did not leave the political scene or the political vicinity. Yeah, he did not leave. He was always there, determining whom becomes what. But guess what? Despite him being the godfather of the political state called Lagos, things were still moving normal. Progress was made, development was, recorded and co. But because if you talk about what is it called, godfatherism, it will sound as if it's all negative. A godfather can be there to make sure that things work out, just like Lagos experience. Now, as we speak, we have two states in the country, Lagos and others. But before you throw more light, let's go to...
It is a calling program where we have a caller already, the person of Chief Sheriff Mulade, who happened to be the National Coordinator Center for Peace and Environmental Justice. Is also the aspirant for governorship PDP, and at this point in time is calling into the new trend too. Let's hear him.
Chief, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, we thank God. Each time you are here, I'm not surprised, because at the end of every conversation, I can recall that I normally tells you that we have in this studio become Oliver Twist, that will keep coming and coming and coming. And now we are back again, on a different issues. Why, like we discussed that day, we pointed out that in politics and in a political space, 24 hours is a whole lot of time for new development, new changes to occur. And as we speak, that change, the anticipated change, is like occurring faster than we envisaged. And that's exactly, why you are coming here is not just highly appreciated, but, we feel honored that you are here with us, because you have that Midas touch, that you apply to issues, that after which our viewers go home happy. So, in a special way, on behalf of the CEO of Baramatu Voice, we welcome you on board.
Thank you very much. The great listeners, I bring greetings to all of you over there.
Thank you so much, Chief. Yes, we are just few days away to the all-important governorship election in the state. When I mean it's all-encompassing with that of the State House of Assembly. We are Delta State specific in this conversation. So, Chief, what is the political temperature like in your area?
Well, this forthcoming Saturday too is the main election.
Wow.
We refer to this governorship and House of Assembly election as a community election, because this is like the leadership that is be closer to the people. This is where the people will feel the impact of governance and government. So it's very, very important for the people. So I believe Deltans will come out en masse to exercise their franchise by selecting through the pool, through the voting, selecting their leaders or voting their leaders who will govern them for the next 4 years. So that means that it's a very, very important election on Saturday.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Once again, we, as a very responsible and responsive organization, Baramatu Voice just conducted an opinion poll, online opinion poll about the forthcoming election, and then we need to, because it's going to inform your, part or the center circle of our conversation this evening. The result of that opinion poll, gave victory a narrow escape to APC. APC in that election, in that poll, scored 42%, while the Obedient Movement, by extension, the Labour Party, scored, 41%, just 1% difference. And PDP, the ruling party in the state, scored trade from a distant third, scoring 15%. And the All Progressive Grand Alliance, where Chief Great Oboru is the flag bearer, scored 1%. Chief, I think you followed 42,
Yes.
41, 15, and 1%. Well, are you surprised?
Well, I'm surprised, but I think that is your own food. Since it's your own media house,
for now.
Yes. Until it reflects in the real election, we will know that the pool is real. Now, beyond that, this Saturday pool in Delta to be a 2-horse race. Wow. As we all know.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a race between the PDP and the APC. It's unfortunate, or rather fortunate, that the third force, the unexpected, unimaginable third force, emerging strongly.
Yes.
That if care is not taken, the suspected or the expected 2-horse race may even fall out.
Wow.
Because the third force is waxing stronger. Is galvanizing everywhere. So the two leading parties should buckle up, because the third force is a strong force to reckon with. You don't overlook it. And I think if the third force give a shocker to Delta and Nigeria at large, nobody expects, and never in Nigerian democracy since 1999 to date, where Labour Party has ever strike this tsunami that sweep the entire. So if Delta and Nigeria are not careful, Labour we're going to give a shocker on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
At the state House of Assemblies and the governorship. So for me, they are all Deltans. They are all competent and capable personalities. It is left for the electorate, the voters, we, the people, to go out and do the needful by selecting somebody with the quality, with the capacity, with the competence, with the ability to drive Delta State to the desired promised land. Someone who has the experience of governance, who will move the state out of agboroism and tactism to a state of a desired destination. Yes, when you look at Delta, you will think we are making progress. Delta is not making progress. If you compare Delta to some other states in the Niger Delta, coupled with the revenue, the resources accrued to the state as a result of the 13%, as a result of the federal allocation, as a result of the internal IGR, you will know Delta is not making any impact. Delta is not making any progress. But because it is a state of high service, this is a state of praise singers, this is a state where the youth and the future leaders has become talks and talks, has become tats and tats, where in fact we don't expect Delta to deteriorate to this level of agboroism and tactism. But you don't feel it much because those who you see displaying agboroism and tactism are the one in government. So you see them, we accord them unnecessary titles, unnecessary responsibility. That is why you don't feel much. But Delta need to grow from 2023. And I think we are in the position now to see that Delta move forward. And for Delta to move forward, despite the fact that we didn't expect what we expect, we didn't get it much from this government, does not mean that the incoming government, whether from the PDP, either from any other party, will not give Delta the desired leadership. What we need now is the desired leadership, irrespective of party. Deltas are yearning for development. Deltas are yearning for progress. Deltas are yearning for unity. So we need a government that will build that unity among Delta, that will make Deltas to feel that this is all-inclusive government. Not when a party A emerge, then it becomes party A affairs. When you become a governor, you may use a party as a vehicle to arrive your destination to become the governor. But when you have arrived, you become the governor of all. You are no longer a governor for a particular political party. Neither when you become a member of a House of Assembly in a constituency, you become a member representing the entire constituency, not a constituency for those who sponsored you, for those who impose you on the people, for those who you think that is your family members. But you become a member representing the entire of that constituency. So we need to move from that egocentric, from that selfishness, from that leadership to all-inclusive leadership. You cannot prepare the future for the next generation. You can only prepare the next generation for the future. So it is unfair for the leaders to say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow and the youth are not given the opportunity to become. So rather you are being propelled as a talk to take over. So where you see talk and over to talks. Since 1999, that is when Nigeria did wrong. And you know then, people said politics is a dirty game. So those decent intellectuals decided to
give way,
jettison the idea of participating in this dirty game. But unfortunately, when you fail to participate in the government that we're going to rule you, that means that that state will be in doom. And that is what we have been experiencing at the federal level to the state. So it is only those who have the characteristic of agboroism and tacticism that becomes leaders. So when they become leader, they have already built the followers that are, before he becomes so, he was one of us. He's a garage boy. He's a this. He was one of us. He did this. You know, so we need to move out of this stage where we need to move from a leader who will be looking at his ethnic group, a leader who will be looking at his region, a leader who will be looking at his religion, to a leader that have that consideration for the entire nation, the entire state. I'm focusing. I want to see a leader, a governor in Delta that will think Delta first, that will think development, that will think progress, that will think unity, that will think peace. That is the governor we are expecting, and that is, I believe, on the 11th Saturday, God, by His infinite mercy, through the elect, we give Deltans the direction, and anybody who emerge is the Deltans, and that is who God has chosen for us, irrespective of how He became the governor.
Exactly.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. For you talked about the third force. There is a new shift where we have the APC and the PDP, and the third force is now overriding the two major political parties in Delta. What has changed over time?
Well, it's very clear. It's not far. One, it's not just about Delta. The desire, the yearnings for change has enveloped the entire nation. And because it enveloped the entire nation, you can see the tension and the pressure at that level at the presidential election. And that trickled down to the state. And when it comes to state, there is this accumulated grudges against the leadership, against the government, that the government have not met the needs of the people. In spite of the opportunities, in spite of the resources, the government have not met the people. So the people see this as an opportunity, the thought force as an opportunity to erase the state from its seat. That is why you saw that the thought force, the Labour Party, were able to sweep Delta. In spite of all the efforts to manipulate all the process, the states were swept out of their hands. Now, that if care is not taken, both the APC and the PDP cannot withstand the thought force, the Labour Party. And so that is why I said earlier that the two parties who feel that they have structure, and you know the structure is a clique structure, and that is why today you see most highly placed political office holder in PDP that has been in this state from 1999 to date. PDP is the only farmland they have. They don't have any business, they don't have any contribution to the state, but they only see it as a source of benefit, to their own benefit. So, but you can see them dumping the party, moving to the third force, dumping the party, moving to the next possible direction of success. So, and why we miss it is when you see people who are politicians in politics, they don't have anything to offer. Because that is the only occupation they have. They are politicians in politics. But it is only when you have professionals in politics, you can see the change. Because of their integrity, because of their personality, because of their experience, they can bring it to bear. But when you see politicians in politics, agboros in politics, tat in politics, then what do you expect? Then it becomes tatism and agboroism states. And that is why people, the reasonable and sensitive people, are looking for that opportunity for change. The next generation, the youth, who are more obedient movement, or known as the Labour Party, is calling for change. And they constitute over 60% of the electorate. And that is why you see that they are moving. The third force become very strong, become very strong, because they are the futures of tomorrow. You cannot tell the people you are the leaders of tomorrow, you are the future of tomorrow, and they don't have future. It's so unfortunate in this country that the elders are still the leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you so much, very much. Thank you so much, Chief. Just before we go, because we have other people calling in, you understand, in a clear language. So, are you saying that you will not be surprised if after Saturday exercise, electoral exercise, that you see PDP and APC swept off the political corridor in the state? Will it be a surprise to you?
It will not be surprise to any Deltans if today the third force emerge as the leaders of the state. Because the third force, I continue to say, don't undermine the third force.
Exactly.
The third force in Delta, the flag bearer of the third force may not be popular. And Deltans are not rooting because of it. Deltans are rooting because of change. So Delta feel that, well, one is at the state level, have not moved the state to our desired destination. One is at the federal level that have brought a lot of hardship, frustration, stagnation to the state and the federation. So when you look at these two, they are like sons and daughters. So we also move to the mother side. And that is where Deltans are looking towards. So it will be more clearer. And that is why you see the two parties are running after the third force. If they can romance with them, that when what the third force will do, we can equally do for you. And you know, the third force, their slogans is no shishi.
No shishi.
And no shishi, they are still moving.
Yes, thank
you so much. We appreciate that. You know, we can see that you are morally behind the third force.
Yes.
You understand? So your final message to Deltans and particularly the third force.
Well, my final message to Deltans, on Saturday, come out and identify your location, your polling unit, go there, vote, and wait to see the outcome of the result at the polling unit before you leave your polling unit. If possible, get a snap of it so that you can able to say this is what we did in our polling unit, or this is the result from our polling unit. Beyond that, be calm. Don't create tension. Don't create any scenario. The security agents are there to protect you, to protect everyone. Don't instigate crisis. Don't also cause conflict. The election, this will not be the last election for Delta State. This is just one of the elections you're going to experience. And in the next 4 years, we're going to experience one. You need to be alive to experience the next election, which will be more wonderful for this than this. So, please, our democracy is growing. Our electoral system is improving. And the youth of Delta are also yearning for change. So go out and do the needful by voting for the leader, for the person you want us to lead us, that has the community-based knowledge leadership, that has the street quality, that is not when he becomes governor, he will use protocols and tinted windscreen to chase all of us away. Somebody will think that can have opportunities for the people, that can be accessible, that can create that enabling environment to who investors to Delta. Delta youth are suffering. So you must go out to vote for somebody who will bring the desired change to us as a people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Nice having you for this interview section, and it has been very wonderful from your analysis from the beginning to and the advice given to Delta, because election is not a do-or-die affair. It is when you are alive that you can tell the story. If you are no more, you can't tell the story of success or anything that happened within the line. It has been a very interesting discussion with you, and we appreciate you for always being alert with Baramatu Voice anytime we call in for interactive sections like this.
And we will come again.
We will come again.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And our wonderful viewers, you've heard it all. But that's not all, because we still have more people calling. So yeah, to discuss this concrete issue, we need to break the kernel so that you go home with a well-informed idea of how it should be. But you've heard it. You vote because of change. Yeah, you vote just because of you are going to vote because of change. Don't vote in anger, and don't try to create a kind of tension where there ought not to be. We should try to be civil in our exercise. You vote and defend what your vote.
Yes.
Don't go home, and don't go home immediately after you cast your vote. Be there to make sure that your vote is counted. If possible, like Chief Sheriff suggested, ensure that you take. We are all photojournalists by virtue of
with
just take
our Android
if possible
phones.
When you are going, go with snacks, or maybe cook whatever you like, so that you don't say because of hunger I need to go. You need to voting is not enough. You need to wait and defend your vote. So please do stay at your polling unit, just the way we are telling you to stay with us at Baramatu Voice, because this is not the end of the program. We are going for a very short break, and when we come in, we have another prominent Deltan cool-headed, well-informed, and quietly influential. He will be joining us to look at this current issue, the March 11 governorship election in the state from a different perspective. No knowledge will be too much. The more we listen, the more information we acquire. So please kindly stay with us. Then while we go on short break, if you have any reaction, any comment, any concern to share with us, do not hesitate to visit our social media platforms.
We have the YouTube, we have the Facebook, and the Twitter, and our WhatsApp, Instagram. Just send in your message and we'll respond to you accordingly.
Immediately, okay. Till then, bye for now. Okay. In a special way, welcome you back. We told you that it's going to be a very short break, and now we are back on a very new segment. Joining us here in the studio is a regular caller, a known face and a known voice, not just a lawyer but a very serious lawyer, well informed and adequately prepared. He's a Niger Delta activist, an eloquent speaker. He is no other person than Barrister Eric Omari. Barrister, good evening.
Good evening.
And how are you this evening?
Very fine, very fine.
Just before we go to the day's business, we must appreciate you for always, willing, eager, and ready to answer us whenever we invite you to join the program. We indeed appreciate your availability.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yes, when last we spoke, we discussed so many issues bordering on the electioneering season, and we equally, specifically pointed out that 24 hours, within the electioneering period is enough for a lot of, changes to take place. Now is over 24 hours, and so many events are taking place. This, in fact, a high volume of water has passed both under and above the bridge. What is your understanding and concern or expression about the current political temperature in the state?
Well, the outcome of the presidential election has thrown up new dynamics as far as the governorship election in Delta is concerned. Okay. Before now, it was a street battle between the APC and the PDP. Yes. But the outcome of the presidential election has given a ray of hope to the LP that was not in contention before now. And the latest poll that was released by your own platform, the Paramount Voice, has paid so much. And the LP candidate is now in contention. Yes. The result of the presidential election has given hope to the Labour Party that, of course, maybe we can just give it a try, or we can just make a surprise like a football team. So that is the new dynamics that has thrown up. Then another dimension to it is the PDP as the incumbent party, the party in government at the state level. It has lost at the national level with a sitting governor that was a vice presidential candidate. So it is now desperate to redeem itself. So that desperation in itself has also added another dimension to the political dynamics in Delta State. My own understanding is that if before now they were very confident that they were going to win election, now they know that it's possible for the PDP to lose election, because if my records are anything to go by, the presidential election that the PDP lost is the first time it has lost the presidential election in the of states from 1998. So that again has added another dimension. So the cumulative effect of all this is that it makes the contest to be very dicey and unpredictable.
Yes, thank you very much, Barrister Eric Omari, a very special guest in our studio. And you talked about the new dynamics. Looking at the Delta State, where we have the ruling party, have commissioners and LCs across all the LGAs and the wards, and unfortunately the ruling party lost to the obedient movement, which is the Labour Party. What had changed over time?
Well, what has changed basically is that the introduction of beavers is a game changer. In the past, people used to vote, and a few persons will go to somewhere and write results. But it's not no longer the case. You can no longer go and write results. So it has the human beings have not taken, actual human beings have not taken center stage in the electoral process. Unlike in the past where a few persons used to write figures and declare that as the outcome of the election. So that's the basic thing that had changed. So the politicians, especially those who have been the party in power, is not used to that sort of situation. It's used to how it used to win election in the past. So I think that's why it is now struggling to come to terms with the new reality.
Thank you very much. It's a very new reality that is on ground, but a lot of persons are still on the misreactions why the beavers electronic transmission is not can be manipulated, and with the way people are looking at the new trend, the dynamics that happen, do you think the beavers is as the people have trust in the beavers for transmission of results in this upcoming election?
Well, what I would say is that one of the problems with public conversation in Nigeria is that there's so much lack of information or lack of knowledge of a lot of things that happen in the electoral process. People should not mistake using beavers as a means to accredit people and vote, and using as a platform to transmit votes. They are two different things. The transmission of votes is a different thing from the question of accreditation of voters. Beavers for accreditation of voters, and then there is transmission of results. It's supposed to be done electronically as promised by the Electoral Commission. From what particular point of view, from this is where I participated in the election. The beavers was used, was seamless. There is a massive difference between how elections used to be and how they are now, beavers. So the problem is that whatever electoral mechanism that you operate, the implementation, it boils down to the human factor, and that human factor, in most cases, the rules are followed when there is stiff opposition, when people are vigilant. But if people are not vigilant, and the regulatory agencies compromise their position, then those things cannot work. So the problem with the beavers is not about INEC per se, but it's the players. But of course, I will say that INEC has no play, that INEC is weak. When you say which INEC, one youth cover or one undergraduate who is taken to the middle of the sea and she is have to do APC, he or she cannot register. But that would not happen where the political players insist that the property should be done. And just like that was what happened in at Obejon during the collation of the senatorial election, where a section of the people said, look, these results did not follow. They cannot go in. And that was what happened. So I wouldn't blame INEC, but the political players should be playing by the rules and not to be desperate and violate the rules and then blame INEC. Against electoral rigging of elections are actually election riggers, and they lack moral justification to blame the Electoral Commission. Why would you hold INEC responsible to obey its rules? The political players must also be ready to play according to the rules.
Thank you so much, Barrister. So, thank God that you've read the results of our online poll.
Yes.
Looking at it, will you be surprised if the election goes that same way on Saturday? Or maybe if the third force, which happens to be the Labour Party, spring a surprise, a further surprise on that day? Will you be surprised?
Well, with what happened last Saturday, it's very, very difficult to predict what exactly will happen. But I must say, without prejudice to whatever interest that I must have in the electoral process, I think your poll substantially reflects the present realities. But whether it will also reflect in the voting is what I don't know. I don't know exactly what how the obedient people will vote. The voting pattern, and what I can say with some level of certainty, is that the voting pattern of the obedient movement will to a large extent determine the direction of this election. Rather than saying, if the obedient movement or the Labour Party decided to voted in the presidential election, and that will bring a surprise. But do they have that level of confidence in their gubernatorial candidates? The level of confidence that they had, or they have in PDP, do they have similar level of confidence? That is not what I can say with any sort of confidence. But what I can say, it seems that they seem to be divided among the major political parties since the offset by the obedient movement. The different political parties are now approaching them. They are now deprived of the political space in Delta. So my view is that I don't see the obedient movement and the LP being together as they were in the last election. I see them supporting the major political parties. But who got the preponderance, who comes out victorious at the end of the day, to some extent, be determined by the person's popularity and acceptability among the elders.
Yes, Barrister, thank you. But from this your explanation flows another question. Before the February 25th experience, there has been at national level this voting in anger quagmire, where youth were advised not to vote in anger and co. Do you get it? Then coming back home now, particularly with the forthcoming governorship election, there is this belief, like you noted earlier, that if obedient movement vote for the Labour Party candidate, that they will succeed in compounding the problem of the state for two reasons. Apart from the fact that the candidate is a paperweight politician, that he may not be prepared or may not have garnered the needed experience to lead a state that is as complex as Delta. Do you believe in that line of argument?
I don't know much of the pedigree of the Labour Party candidate. I have met him document where he attended the program of the December Association for the presidential election. Beyond that, I've not met him, but from the records, he's a graduate of the University of Benin, where he read economics, I think so, around 1988. And from that time to now, he has worked in different establishments from what I read. So to that extent, he may not correctly say that it's not serious enough for me to provide leadership for the state. Complex as Delta is another kettle of fish. But I wouldn't want to use the word compound the problems of Delta State. But it may not also be out of place to say that it may not be as prepared as others who expect to say, look, I'm contesting this election to win. Because that's a very important factor. But you see, when you cover preparation, some of those candidates in the major political parties also are not as prepared as you would think, because some of them are there because their godfathers want them to contest. So for somebody that has been choosing to contest the election on the basis of godfather's instruction cannot also be said to be prepared. The only difference is that such a candidate will be contesting under a very big political party or political party branded, so people may not pick so much issues with where it's coming from. So, but at the end of the day, what is important is that democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So if the people, whoever the people choose to lead them, so be it. We have to obey the outcome of the democratic process.
Thank you, Barrister. Thank you very much for that very enlightening discussion. Then there is one. The new dynamic is what played out in the presidential election, and you happen to see that at this recent time there has been alignments and negotiations with the obedient movement of the major political party PDP, APC, negotiating with the obedient. Do you think this governorship pool, do you think the obedient will keep to the tempo as they delivered in presidential election?
Whether they will still vote along the same line that they voted, but I think you have answered that question before. I don't know, can you come with the question again?
You know, what I'm saying is that after the presidential election that played out, where in Delta State, Labour Party emerged, and at the polls, for instance, after that period, there has been a real alignment with the obedient party, obedient movement, where people has been negotiating with the obedient people within the PDP and the APC. Do you think at this point, during this governorship election that is upcoming, do you think the obedient will keep to the tempo of voting for their candidates?
I mean, you mean the Labour Party candidates?
Yes.
Well, I cannot say that with any sort of certainty. But like I said earlier, the outcome of the presidential election was primarily because of the personality and belief they have in the man, PDP. I don't think that they have a similar belief in other candidates. And I give the example of the other positions that were contested for, like in Delta, where they won the presidential election easily, but they didn't produce a single senator. They produced only 2 out of the 10 House of Reps seats. That's for a pointer to the fact that the obedient vote deliberately. Now, I think the main meat of your question is whether we are tempted by the major political parties that have been known listing the APC and the PDP to lure the obedient to themselves. And what impact are play upon the PDP or the APC? I think that's what I understand to be your major part of your question. My response is that the obedient movement is not like other party structures where one person gives instruction and other people follow. No, this obedience, from understanding of the obedience, are independent-minded people who need governance. So whether the obedient will support a particular candidate or not, my understanding is dependent on the popularity of that candidate and their perception of what that candidate represents with respect to addressing the current ills in the society. So I don't think that maybe going to listen, calling yourself obedient or trying to lure the obedient to join you, I don't think that will work. The obedience are, if you observe very well, they're mostly in the urban areas. A lot of them are enlightened. They can make an enlightened choice. So the acceptability, whether obedience will vote a particular person or not, in my view, is dependent on the general acceptability of that candidate, or not necessarily whether you have reached out to some people and you have given them money or whatsoever.
Thank you so much, sir. We indeed appreciate your time and the in-depth explanation so far given. So just before we draw the curtains, at this segment, we ask, what's your final message, for Deltans as the races towards the governorship pool come Saturday, March 11?
Well, my message, especially to the major political players, is that they should not do anything to trample on the right of the people to make a choice. PDPs, that is as necessary, they should be meant to be maintained. Nobody should be all because of his love for power, desperation, try to spill the blood of innocent Deltans. As former President Jonathan would say, his ambition is not worth the blood of anybody. So all the politicians in Delta will be guided by that statement. It should be according to the rules. Don't try to overheat the polity, not in the best interest of anybody. Power belongs to God, and since democracy is the government of the people, let the people choose whoever they want to become their governor. And whoever emerges should regard himself as governor of everybody, and those who lost should also take their loss in good faith. And Deltans should not be scared or not be discouraged by the outcome of the last election. Election must always have a winner and a loser.
Yes.
It presents another opportunity for them to select a governor, especially a governor that will be coming in for the first time, and the governor that will be more closer to them. In my view, the office of the governor is as important as the office of the president, because the governor is more closer to the people, especially states like Delta where there is so much resources to be managed. So we need a good governor who understands our issues, and Delta should go out and freely vote for a governor of their choice.
Thank you very much, Barrister Eric Omare, a very regular guest to Barometer Voice calling program, and he has been very articulate in his words and advice to the Deltans ahead over the governorship election and the State House of Assembly. It has been a very nice moment to have you in our studio. We appreciate you, and anytime, any day. We also call in for discussions like this. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye now. Dearest viewers, you've heard it from our special guest, in the person of Barrister Eric Omari. We, again, in a special way, thank you for being with us. And is a decisive moment, a period of decision making that will affect us from now till next 4 years. So we encourage you to shun any form of instant gratification mentality this period sorry, a call is coming in. One of our very dear guests is on the on the line trying to join this program, so we hook up to that call.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes,
good evening.
Yeah, welcome to Baramatu Voice Studio. Who are we calling? Who is on the line, please?
Boss Kelly.
Call the name again.
Boss Kelly.
Okay,
Boss
how are
Kelly.
you?
Boss Kelly.
Yeah, boss, how are you? We can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
I'm very fine, sir.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Where exactly are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ayakumo precisely.
Wow. Okay, that's a Burutu local government.
Precisely, sir.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we move on, before you reside in Ayakumo, right?
Excuse me, I didn't get you.
You reside in Ayakumo.
Yes, I reside in Ayakumo.
Okay, so can you tell us your experience about the last election?
I didn't get you. I'm not getting you clearly.
Can you kindly, share your experience with us about the, last presidential and national assembly election?
Okay, I should briefly that about
Yes, your experience. Share your experience with us.
I was privileged to work at I was selected as an emergency PU presiding officer. So I made some observations in the election.
Before you do that, please, can you just distance yourself from the background noise, please?
Okay, this is Ayakumo and I'm outside.
Okay, go to at least to a quiet place where we can hear you very clear.
Okay, I'm doing that.
Thank you.
So, like I said, I made some observations during the election. As the presiding officer, I noticed that the beavers machines, how am I going to put it? The beavers machines were able to detect anyone that is not that is carrying fake cards, and it actually limited the way of rigging elections. Yes, a lot. In previous elections, before the last election, these last presidential polls, we have been noticing rigging, a lot of rigging, mostly in thumbprinting of extra papers. But with the beavers, that stuff, because the total number of accredited voters in the beavers machine is what we are going to present as you are going to present.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes, we are with you. We are with you. We can hear you.
Yeah. So the number of accredited voters in the difference is going to be the exact ballot papers that you are going to submit. So in that regard, it limited
case of rigging election. But be as that, there is a way to rig election with my own observation, because I observed the result sheet that every PU is entitled to enter. There is a space to fill in, as in lost ballot papers, and in that process, an SPU or a PU can manipulate such results in favor of any political party, because there's a space that you can say you lost, or the ballot paper, rule of ballot paper got missing, and in reporting that a rule of ballot paper got missing, you can use that to replace the actual ballot paper that has been voted into the ballot box.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And minus that, I noticed, like in my ward, in Ward 7 Ayakromo, I noticed that the final results came out, and the Labour Party votes did not reflect. Whereas there are some units that Labour Party actually won for presidency.
Okay.
Labour Party actually won for presidency, but when the actual results came out, there was no Labour Party votes. You understand? There was no Labour Party votes, and I sensed that it is the Labour Party leaders that sold the votes of obedience to whoever party they sold it to, because since that result, the leadership of Labour Party in Ward 7 Ayakomo has not made any statement, has not done anything as regards to that. That is for that. And talking about the next election, the gubernatorial elections, I want to state something. That is, there's nothing like a Labour Party. For me, there's nothing like Labour Party, because if you look at what happened in the last election, every obedience, let me say 90% of obedience are either of PDP or APC. Like for me, I'm fully obedient. I voted for OB. I'm fully obedient, but I am an APC card carrying member. The sole reason why I voted for PDP is because I didn't go well with the candidate, the presidential candidate that the APC has selected. So in the aspect of PDP clamoring that obedience should vote for PDP in the gubernatorial election, and APC clamoring for obedience to vote for them, there's nothing like Labour Party. Obedience are not going to vote for Labour Party this time around, because obedience are either of PDP or APC.
Sorry, is that your own opinion or what you've arrived at?
Or you speaking for everybody?
That is the fact. That is the fact. I'm speaking for everybody.
Okay, you're speaking for everybody.
Yes, it's the obvious fact though, because I'm saying it because of experience, because like in Ward 7, I'm using Ayakoma as a case study now, because in Ward 7, the Labour Party leadership, the Labour Party leadership came up about 2 months prior to the election, and whereas we the co-obedience in Ward 7 has started giving out orientation to people about 7-8 months back after PDP became the flag bearer of the Labour Party. We started giving out orientation. We went, like, I'm the assistant coordinator of obedience in Ward 7, and one comrade locally is the actual coordinator. So we went to all churches, schools, we went to houses to orient the people about the need for voting to vote PDP instead of Atiku and Tinubu. You understand?
Yes.
So I don't see anything like a Labour Party in Delta State. There's nothing like Labour Party. The only grace that Labour Party carries is PDP being a flag bearer. That is the only thing. The rest in Delta State, obedience in Delta State are either of PDP or APC faction of political party.
Yes,
yes.
Thank you very much. And there is one clarification I would like to get. Well, you talked about the beavers and the fake card. What do you mean by fake card?
I didn't get it.
You talked about fake cards, fake voters card. What do you mean by voters card?
You know, in previous elections, someone would take the voters card because they look alike. You understand? They look very much alike. In that aspect now, the presiding officer, by mere looking at the voters card, he will just allow the person to vote. But with this, that does not happen. It was it will detect the fingerprint, or it will snap. It will detect that it's fake.
So what you are saying in effect is that the forthcoming election is going to be a different ball game. Is that your opinion?
Yes. Exactly. It's going to be different, but there's nothing like Labour Party with the forthcoming election. It's the gubernatorial election in Delta State.
Okay.
Nothing like Labour Party. Because all obedience are going to go back to their respective political party.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then, you as an individual, I don't know if you have stumbled at our recent online opinion poll. Have you seen it concerning the forthcoming election in the state?
No, I haven't.
Okay, looking at that result, specifically or just straight to the point, APC scored 42, while Obedient Movement, which is the Labour Party, scored 41, and PDP 15, while the APGA, All Progressive Grand Alliance, scored 1%. From what we have mentioned now, don't you think it's contrary to what you think?
No, it's not. It cannot be contrary.
No, because you are saying that there's not going to be Obedient Movement or Obedient Factor come Saturday.
There's nothing like Obedient Movement come Saturday because, like I said before, all obedience
are collapsing the order structure back to the existing two major political parties. Is that what you are saying?
Yes. If not all obedience, more than 90% of obedience are either of APC or PDP.
That's appropriate.
There's nothing like Labour Party. Labour Party is nowhere. As far as Delta State is concerned, there's nothing like Labour Party.
Okay,
boss, thank you.
Thank you very much. Just for the want of time, but just before we, let you go, you said you are a card-carrying member of APC.
Precisely.
By that, you are compromised already in a positive sense. You understand? But what are you looking at come Saturday? Whom do you think is going to carry the day? APC, PDP, or Labour Party? As we
before I answer the question of who is going to carry the day, I want to make a statement about as regards to your compromise statement.
Yes.
I did not compromise because
there is something called positive compromise. You are right to defend your political party where you belong.
If you say positive compromise, I won't say anything. But come Saturday for the gubernatorial election, Omabide is taking the state.
Okay, that's a very good one. Let's we keep the hope alive and the faith.
There is one thing that you talked about. Are you a presiding officer?
Yes.
I
did actually apply for the job. The thing is that they were lacking staffs as of then because the people that applied for the presiding officer slots did not come.
Okay.
So they were looking. They came to me since I'm a computer literate. They came to me and say, "Let me do it." Okay, yeah, there's no big deal. I can do it. That was why they took me as an emergency presiding officer. I said it earlier.
All right, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. Thank you for the insight. Thanks for making out time to speak with us all the way from Ayakoromo in Burutu local government area of the state. We appreciate you, and we encourage you to keep watching Paramatu Voice and keep, sending us your reactions. Tell your friends, your brothers and sisters to always hook up to Paramatu Voice. We shall continue to, be available to serve you in the most professional way.
In regard to Nigeria Decide, now today a talk is Delta Decide because the governorship and State House of Assembly's elections are around the corner, and it has been a very interesting moment.
Hook up to any of our social media platforms. It could be Facebook, WhatsApp page, or definitely not all. You subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Facebook, Instagram,
yes, Instagram,
and our WhatsApp,
yes,
24
our
hours.
phone number is boldly and visibly written on your screen. So, if you want to call us, you can as well do that. We are ready, willing, and eager to have it. A detailed conversation with you about the political event that is currently unfolding in the state. But meanwhile, we thank you for being there with us. And we sincerely hope that by this time Saturday, the picture would have been clearer on whom is going to help or assist pilot the affairs of this state for the next 4 years.
Briefly, when the last caller made a statement in regard to, sometimes you can be politically carried away or party carried away that the obedience is just nowhere after the presidential elections. I don't think, I do not buy into that. It's just personal kind of opinion. Because, for instance, now, there is this obedient consciousness, mama, papa, Peking, mama. It is now in the heart of Deltans. That is what we saw in our online pool. And someone calling is a contrary statement, is opinion. So we will not take it as, because if that is a reality, we would have seen it on our line pools. And what is said is different from what we already have from this online pool. And the Baramatu voice is to give the best of reports that is coming from the masses, from the people, not just what you will sit down and it is Deltans that is taking a U-turn in terms of leadership in their various political party.
It's a very good one. Yes, I share your sentiments, quote and unquote, and
my sentiments.
No, I said quote and unquote. You know what I'm talking about. By placing a very big quote on it. Yeah, definitely we are going to, experience a change in leadership come